WGC. Welcome back to the channel. God bless. Thank you for rocking with your boys. Truly appreciate it. So, what do you want to talk about? Nah, I'm just playing, man. Y'all know exactly what we came here to talk about if you checked out the title. This one's going to be all about a little something we call ring geography. So, with that being said, WGC, let's work. So as a base overview, ring geography is just a fancy term for where your wrestler's placement is inside the ring at the current place and time. Sounds pretty simple on the surface, right? But if we look a little bit closer, we can see that this can have an absolutely amazing effect on the gameplay. And while there are a couple of traces of this and how it affects the gameplay, personally, I feel like 2K can do a lot better in terms of really taking advantage of ring position and just making it something truly special. And like I said, they already kind of flash bits and pieces of this in the last couple of games. For example, if you attempt a pinfall near the ropes, the game will give you an option to perform a dirty pin by putting your feet on the ropes. This is probably the clear example of ring geography I got, but there are some other things that 2K has implemented that stand out as well. Performing a running attack on an opponent who is fairly close to the ropes will automatically change that running strike into a clothesline to the outside. This also holds true for the corner turnbuckle in the exact same scenario. Another example of this is when you Irish whip your opponent towards the turnbuckle that you're near. Instead of the standard Irish whip animation, it will perform like more so a toss animation, as if you're tossing your opponent into the corner turnbuckle. But like I said earlier, this is a fraction of what they actually could achieve if they put some time into this. Let's continue on the offensive side of things for a moment. Taking the same scenario where your opponent is actually close to the corner turnbuckle, instead of the clothesline, imagine being able to deliver something like a Finn Balor style shotgun drop kick that will send your opponent crashing back first into the turnbuckle, basically changing that attack up due to the ring geography. And this doesn't have to be limited to just running strikes. Any strike where your opponent is essentially close to the corner turnbuckle or the ropes would otherwise change your standard attack into something that causes your opponent to interact with either the corner turnbuckle or the ropes in some way. So it really could be a European uppercut that sends them flying back into the corner turnbuckle, or it could be a big boot that sends them flying over the top ropes. The key point is the attack would change due to the ring geography. In terms of grapple offense in this situation, maybe we see something like a drop toe hold into the turnbuckle or a corner exploder. If we're near the ropes, maybe we get an overhead belly to belly to the outside. Now I get some of you are probably thinking, well, we pretty much can do a lot of these moves already in the game. But some of the key differences would be, one is it will come off way more genuine and aesthetic, because the moves will look as though they're naturally occurring and basically giving the players the illusion that the game is actually reacting to what's going on instead of the more linear reactions. It would just give things a more spontaneous feel and maybe throw in a couple of curveballs as opposed to knowing exactly what's going to happen due to the positioning, if that makes sense. The second advantage to this is, simply put, just expanding the offense. Also, think of what this could do in terms of signatures and finishers, especially when it comes to things like the Royal Rumble match. Maybe we can get a new finisher position for the Royal Rumble that doesn't require us to lean our opponent against the rope. Imagine having a super kick or a claymore as your finisher, and if you hit one of these while your opponent is close to the rope, instead of them taking a back bump, maybe they stumble back and fall out of the ring. Or even better, imagine being on top of Hell in a Cell and giving somebody a claymore while they're standing near the edge and like send them flying off. Bro, can you imagine how nasty that would be? Even the newly implemented casket match could benefit from this. A well-placed super kick near the ropes will cause them to stumble through the ropes and into the casket. And just like that, casket finishers are born. Now, of course, they can do this in a multitude of ways, but I mean, I'm really just throwing stuff out there, man. I'm on my Kendrick Lamar with it. I'm just having fun. Now, we've basically covered standing strikes and grapples from this scenario, but let's not forget about downed opponents and the other positions. For example, if our opponents are laying near the ropes, maybe we get more rope-assisted attacks, or even giving us the option to maybe roll them to the outside or maybe push them with our foot to the outside. The main theme I'm getting at here is variety and creativity when it comes to these sort of things. Whether it's giving us more ways to pull off new attacks or giving us new ways to pull off existing attacks. It's all about variety and creativity. Alright, we pretty much created a pretty decent base in terms of offense, but now let's switch over to the defensive side of things, mainly in terms of reversals. I would love to see reversals kind of differ and maybe switch up depending on where we are in the ring. And just to give a few simple examples, if your opponent is running at you while you're near the rope, we should be able to do things like maybe low bridge them and cause them to fall to the outside, or sidestep, sending them to the outside, a counter drop toe hold into the turnbuckle, or a quick sidestep that will send them crashing into the ring post. Or if you want something with a little bit more creativity, maybe an alley hoop that will cause them to land on the top turnbuckle facing away from us. So maybe we could follow up with a back avalanche attack. Going a little deeper into the creativity bag, if your opponent attempts to lift and move near the ropes, how about allowing us to actually grab the ropes to stop his attempt? Dare I say, you could even make it a struggle mini game where you kind of have to tap the button and whoever comes out on top actually either gets the reversal. If your opponent wins, instead he'll actually finish the move. But it doesn't necessarily have to stop there, because I would love to see something like along the lines of, if someone attempts to power bomb you while you're near the ropes, maybe you hit them with a reverse hurricane run and send them to the outside. If it's a suplex near the ropes, then allow us to counter with a float over escape that will see us landing on the apron. And from here, maybe we could do an apron attack, or maybe something like a springboard back to the inside of the ring. So as you can see with these examples alone, there's definitely options with this. Now, I know y'all didn't think we were going to get out of here without talking about my personal favorite aspect of gameplay, the submission system. Nah, we can't do no stuff like that. Getting the obvious out of the way, 2K, if we're close to the ropes and we're in a submission, please just allow us to grab the ropes, man. It really is that simple. A few cool rope break animations and we'll call it good, man. We ain't asking for much. When it comes to submission offense, maybe we see more rope-assisted submission moves. Another concept I had was rope leverage submission moves, aka 5-count moves. These would be moves that would either allow you to use the ropes as leverage or use them as a weapon. One of the best examples that comes to mind is the rope leverage abdominal stretch. We typically see this with a lot of heel wrestlers, where when they lock in an abdominal stretch, they'll actually reach back and grab the ropes and kind of give them an extra bit of leverage, allowing them to apply more pressure. And then we have the scenarios where dirty wrestlers will basically weaponize the ropes and kind of use them to their advantage. This comes in the form of rope-assisted chokes and basically anything that will draw a 5-count. With the re-implementation of the special guest referee and all the mechanics that come along with that, this would have honestly been a perfect year for them to reintroduce the 5-count. Unfortunately, we didn't get it this year, but fingers crossed that is something that they're looking to bring back in the near future, because we can clearly see just how important it would be to certain aspects of gameplay. Overall, I just feel like ring geography is something that, if utilized correctly, could change the way that we play matches by adding a new layer of strategy. It could also birth new features, as we just talked about, and expand the range of offense and defense available to players through the gameplay. WGC, sound off in the comments and let me know your perspective on ring geography. What are some ways you feel like 2K could utilize this to make a better overall game? Post your comments and ideas below. Let me know what you think. If there's something that maybe I forgot about and didn't mention, let it be known. In case I didn't reiterate this enough, feedback is always welcome, man. So I appreciate y'all for watching, man. Until next time, God bless. Remember to try to be a blessing to somebody. Yeet.